Everyone on Earth dies right now except you. What do you do? On Earth? I suppose it's on me to deliver this devastating news to everyone on the ISS. Dr. Stone has entered the chat. I'm surprised I had to scroll so far to see this. Apparently there are 10 humans in space right now, so I tried to contact them and see if there was any way to get them back down safely. They'd probably be doomed though unless the appropriate equipment and launch programs are readily available. Besides that, I'd probably prioritize sperm/egg banks before the power grid completely failed and preserve what I could so that there was at least some possibility of restarting humanity. The chances of me figuring out how to grow people in tubes during my lifetime are pretty close to zero, but it would at least give me a goal and a smidgen of hope to keep me going for a while. If, when I gave up on that, I would probably attempt to research ways of preserving human knowledge and culture long term, and try to do so in ways that future intelligent life could either benefit from or at the very least know that we were here. If by then I've figured out why everyone else was killed, I would try to leave warnings for future civilizations. Humanity has its flaws, but the idea of us going out with a whimper doesn't sit well with me. I would almost certainly fail, but I like to think that in such a situation I would still do my best to make a mark that wouldn't just erode in a couple thousand years. Say, whoops, because, as the only survivor, it was clearly my fault. Urkel voice, did I do that? It's an old meme, sir, but it checks out. Leave work early. Good luck getting home in all of that traffic. Who said I'm going home? Touché. You have to stay because your PTO can't be approved. That's ridiculous. If everyone else is dead, I am emailing HR my 2-week notice immediately. Just after you send that one last follow-up email about the meeting next week. Hide underground for a few hours because there's about 5,000 unmanned planes that need to come down. Never would have thought of that. Any populated areas are going to be on fire too. Everyone who is operating an open flame, like a kitchen, is going to light up. Car wrecks too. So you can't just choose any underground place either. Trains too, since nobody will be operating the signals or monitoring them. And at least where I live there would be several thousand on the move at up to 130 miles per hour or so. Most would just coast to a stop because they need a human pressing the switch. But several are fully automated like the DLR. I never would have thought of that. I was planning to raid a supermarket and here you are actually managing the apocalypse. You're just built different. Respect. Get a true sense of how bawdy the internet is. Oh man, that would so fuck with your head. Everything you see around you in real life would tell you that everyone is dead, but when you go online there's still new content being posted, new replies being made, and no way of knowing for certain that it's only bots. What a mindfuck. I expect it would start to become obvious when you go into a city to find everyone dead, only to see a new Reddit post about the city being a war zone taken over by homeless and immigrants. Sounds like a Black Mirror episode for real. I remember reading a short story about a bloke who was all alone on Earth after everyone died. Then he got a phone call. I'll see if I can dig it out. Edit, found it. It was Mars. We've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. Without reading the story, so I don't know if this is how it went, but I'm imagining a story where the person is all alone and one day receives a call and it's the voice of a loved one saying they are still alive and that they're in some sort of location, convincing the person to go to that location only to find that it's a computer/supercomputer/whatever sci-fi device you can think of, trying to convince the person to keep the computer running on whatever fuel/electricity it needs. Only for the person to be so far committed to trying to save their loved one, and they save the computer just to keep the idea that the other person is still there alive. New post on Ask Reddit, what's the sexist sex you've ever sexed? Checks out. You forgot the obligatory women of Reddit at the start of that title. I wonder how long the internet and power plants would continue to function without any human maintenance. Not long. Last I remember looking this up it was like 72 hours max. The bigger issue is grid management. Humans do a lot to monitor the grid, and in the event everyone but one person suddenly disappears, there would be a massive excess of power almost immediately, which would overload the grid and lead to a massive shutdown. New post on r/Ask Reddit, bots of Reddit, how do you feel about all the people being gone? Find some solar panels and batteries, head over to a Costco and set them up and figure out how to rig the freezers up. I believe you have about a week or two before all power stations shut down with no human inputs. After that, start stockpiling fuel and medicine. Once that's done, just relax and read all day. Hope you don't get killed by packs of dogs. Don't step on your glasses. Time enough at last. That's not fair. That's not fair at all. There was time now. Wait, my eyes aren't that bad. I can still read the large print books. Good thing I know how to read Braille. Oh well, at least I can still read the large print books. Costco has reader's glasses. I'd go make myself something at a fast food place, pick up some liquor, then join them. Same. Can't imagine I would want to stick around in that situation. I think I'd try my luck in flying a plane.
Yeah.
Might as well have a little bit of fun on your way out. Like that one dude, Sky King or something. Fly high, Sky King. Well, I never did get to test a Ferrari. Why not? At that point, might as well load up on some drugs and go driving really fast. For context, I don't live more than 10 miles from a NASCAR track, so I might as well use it.
Yeah.
Everyone disappears and you've got the how that they come back. But everyone just dies?
Yeah.
I'm not sticking around for corpse disposal. Imagine how bad everywhere would smell. You haven't thought of the smell, you bitch. I'd at least check if everyone is dead first. Unironically, just confirming if you are in fact the only survivor would be impossible and would eat at you forever. I'd be having nightmares about settlements and warm fires just over the next hill for my whole life. Honestly, I'm only checking my wife and kids. If my 3-year-old daughter is gone, then so is daddy.
Peace.
Light skin tone emoji modifier. Nope, dead. Okay, one down. 8.5 billion to go. I'm not even going to make it very long if something happens to my son. If it's also my husband and my mom and siblings and friends and everyone else, there's no way. I'd be right behind them. I wouldn't immediately know I was the only one. I'd probably go looking. Necked, obviously. But still, I'd be looking for survivors. If you thought there might be survivors, why would you go searching necked? Turns out Audible Nod was just in a quiet part of town, and was quickly arrested once they reached the busy areas. OMG, have a mental breakdown. I feel like this is the most realistic answer. And even after I come to terms with the fact that I'm the last person alive, it won't be long before I go insane from isolation. I'm suiciding right away. Watching my wife and kids die right in front of me for no reason is enough for me to check out. Wouldn't even hesitate. I'd make it my mission to get into as many homes as I can before I go so that there's no cat stuck inside and no fish or something. Not gonna make a lot of difference, but I'll try. Also, at least open the doors in the zoos. Most animals won't know how to care for themselves, but at least they won't starve behind locked doors. Would give me something to do at least for a month before I'll stop finding cats that manage to chew through their kibble bags and deceased owners and found some sources of water. Then.
Yeah.
I agree. All that's left is to go gently into that night. Edit. I'm no longer replying to everyone who said, animals will eat you, please discuss it with one another. Thanks. As a bonus, you'll likely get killed in the process of freeing zoo animals, save the chimps for last. So you won't even have to suicide. True that. I'd much rather not get mauled by chimps as my last moment, but I agree that this is a real possibility. Gather up supplies that can last a long time. Canned goods, things like that. Take over a secluded estate. Hook up a massive solar array, so I have unlimited free power. Learn how to grow food. Have a pack of cool dogs as my sidekicks. Store as many EVs as I can. I know gas doesn't stay usable forever. Learn how to sail so I can travel the world. Teach the dogs also how to sail so I have some help. Thankfully my go-to drink is bourbon so I would never run out. Get an orangutan as a sidekick as well. Need someone to drink bourbon with. Hope said orangutan is not a mean drunk. Edit makes more sense to teach the orangutan to sail than the dogs. I'd watch this movie. I hope the orangutan is not a horny drunk either. Probably pop down the corner shop and get a Diet Coke and a Cornetto. Oblivious to it all. Then head to the pub. Wait for it to all blow over. Fuck around for a while then kill myself. Check Reddit. Post something about Silk Song being overrated and get away with it cause everyone's dead. Asterisk creates a million Reddit accounts to upvote comment. Gets banned by auto moderator. Watch it get downvoted because bots are trained on existing comments. Mourn my family. Then I turn into Tandy. My first thought was the equivalent to the first half of season 1, just collecting interesting shit while traveling around. Lamp bowling and other pointless behavior because it doesn't matter anymore. Everyone seems to think they would kill themselves, but I don't think I have the guts to do that, to be honest. I just like living too much. It would suck obviously, but I think I could live a Tandy lifestyle as well. I would probably do more gardening and homesteading than he does, and probably hook up solar power in a coastal house rather than the random suburban one he chose. But I could find ways to entertain myself for sure. It truly was a Shawshank Redemption. Before I die an inevitable death due to lack of medical treatment, I just go snooping through everyone's homes and start collecting random stuff that I like the look of. Go to the hospital and figure out how to administer my last 2 doses of chemo myself, rolling on the floor laughing. What a fun day that would be. At least I wouldn't have to worry about what I look like anymore. That's a lot of dead bodies to bury. Might die from the stench of rotting corpses. Was thinking the same. I'd have to gather a bunch of supplies and then move someplace private until all the decomposing was done. I would finally go visit all places that are normally crowded by people. I'd finally be able to afford groceries at Whole Foods. Everything. I'm reading that in the way Gary Oldman in that movie says everyone. Good answer. I'm going with everyone. Enjoy the peace and quiet. Make it my mission to release all the animals locked in houses, shelters and zoos. As many as possible before I die too. Can't take care of them all, so they'll have to work it out after that. Edit to add, since this is a hypothetical, the hypothetical me can accomplish this without being eaten by the animals first. That mission would last a week at most, as they will have died of thirst or starvation after that.
Yeah.
There would be a turning point where you would know to stop, which is sad. I had to look it up due to a previous comment. If every human vanished and you had to check every house on Earth for pets, just homes, not the other types, there are about 2.4 billion homes worldwide. Even if you could somehow manage 80 homes per day, which is already insane, think breaking in, searching rooms, and moving between rural houses, that's 2.400,000.000 divided by 80 is equal to 30 million days, or 82.000 years. Even doing 1,000 homes per day, basically impossible, would still take 6.500 years. You could do it with a sleigh and reindeer. Complete my wife's to-do list first, because on the off chance she makes it back, I'm screwed. I'm an introvert and live alone. Might be a while before I realize it. Being the best on the world in everything. Drink myself to death in unconsolable grief. Probably. Celebrate because I'll finally be cured from social anxiety. Honestly, I'm in Brussels, so would hop in a car and drive to Amsterdam. I'd sit on one of the boats, grab as much weed as I could carry, snacks and sit by the river. I'm sure the depression from losing my loved ones would kick in from there. I'd record messages for the next intelligent species that finds Earth. We were here. We tried. Time to catch up on all my reading. Asterisk breaks glasses. It's not fair. Me. Go to all the houses in my neighborhood and let their pets free so they don't die of thirst. Let their horses out of their barn. Go to the pet store and get bags and bags of kibble. Open them and spread them around so the free pets have at least some food. Break down the fence around the goat herd, they'll be okay. The beef cows will probably do okay, too, but the dairy cows probably won't be. Then I'd read and drink coffee. Probably watch to see how the animal kingdom is shaking out. Then die. I'd miss my family, but if I don't have them to mourn, this sounds like a decent life. Watch I Am Legend with my dog. Honestly, if you have ever been hospitalized for a long period, or incarcerated, I guess, you know how achingly lonely things can get without a single person to interact with. I am a very capable person. I can build things, grow things, fix things, but I would be filthy, frustrated, and hungry within days. In addition to that isolation, I'd probably last less than 2 weeks before deciding to end it. I'd be okay with my pets. 2 dogs and 3 cats, assuming I can keep them fed, but after they're gone, or would be pretty tough being that alone. In no particular order. Set up a solar power/battery farm to power my home. Find and claim a source of fresh water/set up water filtration. Track down all the propane tanks nearby for cooking fuel. Clear out all the bodies near my home/dig mass grave site. Clear out all the fresh food in the markets nearby, then clear all the canned food I can find. Storage available in the freshly cleared houses near my home. See about moving a tanker truck or 2 of gasoline near my home in a cleared parking lot. Find long guns and short guns to deal with inevitable feral dog packs which will eventually start roaming around, plus other wild animal encounters. May I suggest taking a fuel tanker to a frozen distribution center and keeping the backup diesel generators topped up? Then, if you have room, bring a reefer semi-refrigerated/frozen trailer to the distribution center and load it up with all your favorites. Bring it home and you've got 22 pallets of your favorite foods to choose from. What if I have no idea how to do step 1? Before the feral dogs, I'd think there'd be a mouse and rat population explosion as they rip into the massive abandoned food supply. Probably raccoons too. Followed by the domestic cat/wild cat/fox population explosions and start of the feral dog packs. Then you'd probably get the big dogs/wolves/coyotes/mountain lions population explosions. Are you all truly serious? I feel that if everyone around me were to perish, I would lose all reason for existence. I believe we are an inherently social species, and to witness a scenario like that would be utterly devastating. Frankly, I believe I would take my own life. Same. I'd be okay, for a little bit, because I'm trying to figure out how to survive. And I'd like to go move into rich people's houses for a few days. But losing my kids, I'm not sure I would be functioning well enough to survive a month. My husband recently died and I'm barely making it as it is. If I lost everyone? Ick man. I'd probably go insane and start talking to people who aren't there. It would mean my daughter is dead as well as my friends and family. So, yeah. I'm finding the nearest firearm and joining them. Take your dog and go fishing. I agree, but also, no more economic nightmare. I'd go get some weed, some whiskey, and maybe break into a movie theater to watch silly YouTube clips and NASCAR. Drive around and watch a sunset on the beach. Maybe delude myself into thinking I'll find someone somewhere. At least enjoy a day of not having to be anxious about school and work before letting the sadness consume me. Asked by my boss, "Are you still coming in?" I'd bury my loved ones and start making my way to every zoo and shelter I can reach and let all the animals out. Once that's done, I'd end my life. Let nature take it back and hope the next round of dominant species does better. On the upside, you wouldn't have to end your life because the animals you let out of the zoo would do it for you. Carrot this. And probably take some drugs just to try. Yeah. Probably the best thing one could do with the relatively short time frame and limited resources available. Let's be real, you're only making it to one zoo. It's just a question of what kind of animal kills you when you open their pen after presumably days without being fed. Honestly, probably get all the dogs in the world. All the dogs in the world are gonna get hungry. Kill myself. Exactly. I hate being left out. Try to verify that and then decide if and how I wanted to live. Stop working on my year-end self-assessment. As a man that loathes self-assessment time, this is my favorite answer. Go around town and open people's doors to release their pets. Alexa, play Everybody by Backstreet Boys. Take the car. Go to Mum's. Kill Phil, sorry. Grab Liz, go to the Winchester. Have a nice cold pint, and wait for all of this to blow over. How's that for a slice of fried gold? Eat the ice cream before it melts. Go back to bed. Too early for this shit. Jerk off in public. It's the only answer. Next question please. Turns out you were in a What If live TV show. Now the world has seen you jerk off in public. What's your next move? There is no public anymore. Move to a farm and cry. Cry cause WDYM my parents are dead too. Find a Walmart, clear out the dead people and all the fresh food. Provide generator power to the freezers. Freeze all the food I can. Live in the Walmart. This but Costco. The problem with this is you'd never know it's only you, so you'd become obsessed with finding others. And dedicate your life to it and probably die trying or die from sheer despair of never finding anyone. Round up my cats. Drive to the coast and find a very nice, large boat. Load up on fuel and food for a trip to a smallish Caribbean island. Find a nice holiday home there and settle in. Smaller islands wouldn't have many dead people. There would be fish to catch. And plenty of boats to use. Most islands have fresh water cisterns that catch rain. Lots of tropical fruits. I'd live out my days in a beautiful location, fishing and enjoying the company of my cats and caring for other animals left behind. Genius. Have a bit fun, then jump off the nearest building. Ain't no way I'm starting farming. How do I know everyone else is dead? I'd probably spend a lot of time trying to find that out. Head to Area 51 and see if there's a way to contact aliens and tell them I need some friends to hang out with. Alien 1, hello? Why are you calling on this frequency? Hi, I'm Necessary Salamander. I'm the last human in the world. I think. I'm very lonely. I'm wondering if aliens are real or am I speaking to a human somewhere else? Who are you? Alien 1, one memento por favor. Turns to Alien 2 and covers the radio receiver with his tentacle. Tell Admiral Glorp that we missed one. Finally, win Survivor. Clear all the bodies out of the nearest Costco. Loot every dwelling looking for narcotics. Post up in Costco for a while. Hope the bodies around the country have deteriorated enough that there's little to no smell when it's time to move on to the next Costco. Maybe rescue a handful of pets along the way so I'm not completely alone for at least a few years. I would roleplay in IRL. Move to the apartment I want to move to that they're holding up my application for over a minor inconvenience. Kill myself or watch YouTube. Why not both? First, panic. Second, raid Costco. Third, spend 3 weeks talking to mannequins before realizing I don't even like people that much anyway. I can't be the only one. Call 911 because my spouse just passed away in front of me. Spend 30 to 45 minutes attempting CPR while 911 doesn't answer. Try to figure out what to do with his lifeless body in my house and no one is answering the phones. Log onto the internet to see who else to contact. Nothing has changed because they just collapsed and most things are on autopilot. Watch the planes fall out of sky because I can see flight paths from my balcony. Try to contact family and friends. Tomorrow, I will spend 30 to 45 minutes despairing because no one is answering. Once I realize the ramifications of what happened, start working on long-term energy, solar and wind, and figure out how to get a battery backup for the house installed without an electrician. It's not stealing if everyone is dead. Although, I do have a close neighbor who has solar already installed. I might knock on their house and break in if there is no answer for over a month. Get an EV with 4WD. I live in a place where it snows that I can plug into my house. I kinda like the idea of the Ford 150 Lightning. If I can get it in 4WD. Food, I have enough to live by myself for about 3 months. Get to the grocery store and stock up on canned goods. Get to the local nursery and get perennial food plants, sugar maples, hazelnuts, peaches, other trees that grow and provide food in my area. Get seeds and fertilizer for the spring. Fence, I live in the wildlife-urban interface. I have deer, elk, bears, etc. that will eat the food I am planting. I have to protect that. And I have to work fast because winter is coming. Get into a pharmacy. The one at the grocery store should be easily accessible, although smelly with all the dead bodies, and grab as many medications as possible. Download and print medical information so I know what those medicines are best used for. The internet will not last forever. Self-defense. I need guns and ammo. Just in case. Even if I don't see anyone now, doesn't mean that there isn't anyone out there. Then figure out where to from here. It's October, so I will probably be here until December at the earliest. Post-winter is usually in April/May. Where would I go to try and find others who are alive? I live next to a city of over 1 million, and I can build a sustainable community with. I am older and have the skills to live with minimal interference from the outside. I can make my own clothes, grow my own food, build my own furniture, repair my own house/bike, not up to cars yet, know how to ride horses, but not how to break them. I like the comments about freeing the pets in my neighbors' houses. I might do that. I don't know of any that are well trained that would be good to keep as a companion animal for myself. I have been looking for one, maybe I should speed that up. When it warms up, I would start looking for other survivors. Figure out a way to communicate, maybe a shortwave radio on a portable solar panel. Set up the radios in a highly visible area in different places with written messages to contact me if found and make certain each of them work. Set up an in-person check-in routine for the places within 100 miles first. For example, Radio A in City A on Monday, Radio B in City B on Tuesday, etc. If nothing on any of those for a full month, find a new home base and expand my search. That is, if my mental health holds enough hope to last this long. Do you mean just the humans or literally everyone? I think I'd jerk off first. Jerking off first is optimal survival strategy. You need the post-nut clarity to truly make good decisions. Find a way to travel 7.000 kilometers home to make sure my dog is alright. Play Augusta National before it gets overgrown. Clarifying question, are there now 7 billion plus human bodies dead in place? Panic because I'm now stuck on an island and I don't know how to fly a plane. Go into all the staff-only doors I come across, just to see what's in there. Rejoice. Drive home. Get my dog, head up to Costco and start shuttling non-perishables to a nice big house with a well. I'd set up solar power. Then probably just hang out and be depressed. Edit below. I'd have to go start picking up all my family's pets. I wouldn't be able to leave them alone to die. Another edit below. My entire existence would be opening every single door to every single house, as fast as I can to free animals from a lonely trapped starvation. Go to car dealership, get me a heavy-duty truck then Whataburger and make me a big fat burger. Go to library and find as many survival and off-grid books as possible to help my ass. Cancel my yard sale. Depends. Are the bodies still around? Go to a pharmacy and find some good shit, then OD after I turn all my animals loose with tons of food outside for them to live on. Figure out where to get a Geiger counter, because when nuclear plant eventually explodes from lack of maintenance, you probably don't want to be there. Bury the corpses of my family in the backyard. Drive to a computer store and take all the external hard drives and computers. Download as much stuff from the internet as possible to the external hard drives before the internet starts to fail. Get a bunch of gas cans and fill them up. Load all the computers and hard drives and gas cans and whatever else I want to bring into van I have taken. Drive to San Diego. I'm picking San Diego because the weather is mostly mild year-round. Pick a rich person's home and move in, remove corpses first. While the gas is still good, gather as much goods as I can and stockpile in the houses surrounding the house I have selected. Get generators to run until the gas runs out. Set up solar panels for after the generators run out. Now relax. Watch movies. Read books. Go on walks. Find the biggest mansion and live there. Take home all the animals in the shelters. Then and only then will I look for survivors. Enjoy the peace and quiet. Whatever the fuck I want. Go to a hospital and find the best drugs. Ask ChatGPT how long I have before infrastructure and the internet breaks down, and enjoy the silence. Shut off the gas, grab a hand crank radio and a cart of water. Move into a library next to a grocery store, adopt a dog from the shelter, and spend sunsets playing vinyl in empty theaters so the world doesn't feel silent. Wow, there's so many people here who would just end it. Anyone else from /homelab here? I'd be fine for food and water for a long time from the various supermarkets, and there would be enough fuel until it totally expires. Even if you needed to run generators constantly after the power went out, that would probably be fine. So I guess I would try to preserve as much information from the internet as I could and set that up locally. Things like downloading everything from Wikipedia, probably local LLMs, and raid the local electronics store for all the computing power I would need. Maybe set up camp in an office building or data center long term. I guess from there you'd have to learn some pretty critical stuff fast, like how you sustain your power long term. Learn how to fix those machines. Taking over a hydro plant or a solar farm would be cool. But how do you maintain it 30 years into the future? Transport would be crucial, so having workshops set up capable of being maintained by one person. Learning to fly. Crush some things with a monster truck if I could get my hands on one. There's all sorts of things you could do. I wouldn't be topping myself, ever. Get a dog. Edit, shit. I'm a type 1 diabetic. That admittedly might be a bit of a challenge. Secure the pharmacy's power first. I would find a way to die as painlessly as possible. Like, if everyone is disappeared, I'd go do fun things, then eventually get sad and bored. I'd create an army of leftover pets. Pets eventually eat me. Done. But if everyone was just dead, flopping down around me, first I'd be horrified. Then I'd be terrified, then when I didn't die like everyone else and the grief hit, I'd be so fucking angry. I'd go to the nearest hospital, get whatever ridiculously concentrated opioid they use now, walk back to wherever my kids were and dispatch myself ASAP. I feel like this would be a pretty good concept for a short horror film. Credit me. Even if I didn't have kids and wanted to survive and explore, dead bodies would be everywhere. Smelly, disease-ridden, swelling, and filled with maggots. Trying to step over and around them everywhere? Poisoning the water? No fucking thank you. Same ending. Mourn the loss of my friends and certain family members, then take a giant sigh of relief as the earth can finally start to heal from everything humans have done to it. Got to Rocky Mountain National Park without a reservation. Well, I would first make sure I was far away and upwind from any nuclear power plants. Start digging. Go to the closest liquor store and get the most expensive bottle of whiskey that I would never have been able to afford and start drinking. Mourn my loved ones. Start chopping wood. Winter is coming and something tells me the propane man ain't coming. Accidentally break my glasses. Walk to McDonald's and help myself to ice cream. Then go to the grocery store and pick up a bunch of mince tarts, pumpkin pie, and stock up on whipped cream. Take a nap. Goon to repopulate the human race. I am legend. Everyone dies? Think of the smell. You haven't thought of the smell. I'm in my room on my computer. It's quiet. I have no reason to leave the house today. Assuming the deaths are instant and spontaneous without any outside factors. I wonder how long it would even take for me to notice. There's a very real chance I'd head to work tomorrow morning and not realize anything is amiss until I got into town and saw cars crashed everywhere. Since I'd have no way of knowing for sure that everyone died, I'd probably try looking for anyone else like me for quite a while. It wouldn't be too hard to find food, and tap water should theoretically work nearly indefinitely for a single person. I assume the power grid would fail pretty quickly though. I'd have to spend time finding a house with a real wood-burning fireplace. It's hard to say how long I'd keep going before I finally gave up hope and decided there was no reason to continue surviving. It would be lonely and boring. Months? Years? Never? Who knows? Head to the drugstore for everything I may ever need, like antibiotics, pain meds, iodine, stock up on toothbrushes, sterile bandages, reading glasses, one of each strength, ISO alcohol, then to the grocery store for food, mostly canned and dry goods that will last for years, seeds, salt, sugar, spices. I have a well and spring for fresh water, so don't need it. The 7-Eleven for some liquor, gasoline, motor oil, cigars for those long old nights sitting alone. Then to the hardware store for a spare Jenny, power saws, bullets, and other guns I don't already have and may need to survive to hunt food with, and more fishing gear, lamp oil, propane, survival boots, and clothing, foot and hand activated heating pads, deer and bird feed. Then last the library for medical books, encyclopedias, and lots of good reading materials. Oh.
Yeah.
I'd probably grab a few mannequins if I see any going through town to feel like there still are somebody around to talk to, mainly just keep me company and from going totally insane for the long boring life ahead all alone. Probably continue life as normal. I don't really interact with the world very much. Enjoy the silence, Blackheart.